Folks be creeping by Ray's house real slow. I wonder why. They're trying to see a player. Okay, y'all. Good morning, good morning. So, Monday morning, 10 minutes to 8, me and Phil are pulling out. And I don't know if I made the video the other day, but I got a small leak. I believe it's a small coolant leak. It's probably going to be on the, I hope it ain't in the bottom of the radiator. If it is, it's not a big leak or nothing. And I've been driving the truck. You know, I drove the truck all over Timbuktu the other day. So yeah. So I know the last video I did, I was talking about, you know, are we forced to, you know, lowball our prices and stuff, or you know, lower our prices really. A lowball word was just a clickbait, but we're forced to, you know, lower our prices or whatever to get, you know, work. And you know how the dry weather and everything has made the lawn season kind of, you know, go out with a dud instead of a bang. It's like I said, it's really dry. So on the heels of saying all that and doing a video over all that, the bamboo site owner called me, and he's ready to spend some money over there. So, and it's a pretty good bid. He's going to do a lot of work over there. He said he's going to spend about 40K over there. Not going to spend 40K with me, but he's going to spend, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he don't spend 6 or 7. That's, you know, that's pretty good. I can remember a time when I'd go all winter and not make 6 or 7K. Yeah. And that's part of the practice that I got to be really good with my money, because if you're just mowing, you got to be real sassy with your money, man, to be able to maintain and to stay ahead of the game and all that there. And that was work that I had not even expected. You know, I've been doing the grass over there. Well, I've been, you know, I don't know if a lot of you guys that are new to the channel, me and the bamboo site owner, we've known each other. I've known him since he was in high school. He worked for me. So, yeah, then he went off to college and, you know, up at UGA and did his thing. And then he came, and now, you know, his family owns the property, owned that property, and now he owns it. And he spent a lot of money with me over the years, tens of thousands of dollars. And this year, well, he spent a pretty good bit with me this year too. You know, just maintaining the grass over there is about $500 or $600 a month. So I charge about, I think I charge $250 a cut over there, and it takes us a couple of hours. You know, it ain't. But you know, being able to do that, and you know, over there at his property is where I learned how to run a skid. It's where I have done a lot of work over there. So I'm stoked about that. I may be, and I don't know. I got a couple other jobs I'm looking at. I may buy a forestry mulcher, y'all. Because one of the problems, and me and the bamboo site owner was talking about it, one of the problems with what I do on the brush cutting and tree trimming and tree removal and all that, 9 times out of 10, if I'm removing a tree, I got the skid with me, right? Well, the problem I always run into, and you guys know it, is what do we do with the debris, right? That's always been that's been an issue. And I've lost jobs and not done jobs based on that, because I got to haul it off to get rid of it. I don't have no way to really, break it down. So me and the bamboo site owner was talking about, he said, man, you could buy one of those forestry mulchers, man, you could probably get all your money back over here, over time. He said, and he's the one that said, $5,000 or $6,000 this year alone. And I'm like, damn, man, that sounds good. So I may get one. I don't know. Now, I don't know if I'm going to buy a big boy one. I might just buy one of the cheap Chinese ones and see how they do. Because when you're looking at these mulchers, some of these mulchers, man, they cost, $30,000. And y'all know my machine is a 75 horsepower high flow with 29.8 gallons per minute on the high flow. So that's a little bit low. It's about 5 gallons per minute lower than what I think you should really need to be all you can be in the mulching game. Of course, if you buy a bigger machine, you at a whole nother, you're at 3,000 more pounds, and so moving forward, I'm and I don't really like buying cheap shit, right? So that puts me in a spot where, man, if I'm not going to spend $15,000 or $20,000 on a mulching head for my machine, then I would just buy one of the cheap ones. The thing about the cheap ones is it's really hard to get parts for them. That's what they say. The Ray Tree and some of the other Chinese manufactured ones, I don't know. And I don't have a dealer around here nowhere. So I'm in a course of doing research and all. Now, I do got a guy that rents them on Facebook in my area. And he's saying that he would rent me one for $500 a day. Well, I'm sure he would, and y'all know I don't like to rent stuff. But the one he has, I think it's out of Canada. It's really a nice one, man. They retail for like $50,000 or $48,000. And he got one that he said he'd sell me for $26,000. Man, that just seems like a lot of money for a used attachment. It looks beat up too, man. And I may go rent it from him and kind of just, I need to do my due diligence. But man, by the time, I don't know, man. There's a lot to think about when you are, doing that kind of thing. And I don't know how big of a demand there is. If I knew there was a great demand for it, then I would just go buy a brand new one. And I still might, I don't know. A brand new good one, I don't know, man. I don't want to spend $25,000, man, on something, on an attachment that I might use a lot this year and then none next year. It's just, I don't know, it's just a lot, man. So we're over here on the first one, and you got to do things a little bit different this time of year. You see, there's not a lot of weed eating, so I got Phil. He is blowing the cubby holes out, so I can get everything with a lawnmower. That's what we're trying to do. We want the mowers to do everything. It ain't nothing different than any other time in my life. So y'all see all the leaves surrounding up there? I don't know if y'all can see that or not. So I'm gonna have Phil blow them out past that bed so I can get them with a mower. And that's the way, there's not any weed eating. You're not gonna edge nothing. There's nothing for the guy to do over here except for blow. So,
And that's what guys always get a little bit confused when you go from mowing like we mow to blowing and to doing these. Because the grass does not need cutting, but to me, you got to do what you got to do. So, see, if I was Phil, I probably would have blown some of it up on the hill too. But I told him to blow it all out here where I can get it. So we'll mulch all that up and we'll keep it moving, y'all. Keep it moving. You see, it's nice and neat. So what I always do, and I don't know if everybody else does it, what I always do, because the guy on the ground ain't got a lot to do, so he spends more time blowing, and you can't never underestimate a good blow job. Y'all know that. So yeah. So what I get the guys to do, when we're this time of year, what I get everybody to do is they don't spend no time weed eating, and there's no time to spend blowing or edging. So you spend more time blowing, I guess, and then you spend less time weed eating. But the things that you do weed eat, you go a little deeper. You'll weed eat in the holes like this, and you'll weed eat the beds because you ain't got nothing else to do while the guy on the mower is doing what he do. Y'all remember this right here? You couldn't even hardly see the pond. I got a video where I cleared all this, about 8 big trees, stumps, everything. So yeah. Okay guys, so one thing I want to, just a tip on the Bermuda grass, as you get into the fall and you notice that the Bermuda grass is not growing hardcore, I don't cut it short, because if you cut it short, you'll scar it, and then you'll be looking at that mark or that scar for the whole winter, or the customer will be looking at that. What you want to do is you want to cut it high and not scar it. So that's a good tip for the day, because what happens is if I cut this really low and it's not growing, then the next time I come back just to clean the leaves up, I clean it off, and then what? You got all those marks and scars. You see, there's no scars in it because I cut it high. I didn't try to cut it real low. As you get into the fall, winter, and you're doing Bermuda yards, don't cut them short. Try to cut them high, so the customer don't have to look at all your turn marks and everywhere where, you know, during the summer it doesn't really matter because it grows so fast. But this looks really good here. I'm sure they'll be super stoked, man. So yeah. So I dropped Phil off at the big one, just like every other week. Same shit, man. You know, same stuff. It ain't rocket science. The rocket science part is getting the customers where you can move along with them as far as your density and all goes. So we get into, like, a lot of my customers. This will be I'm pushing it. Well, you need to have monthly, yearly contracts with them. I'm telling you, man, they ain't gonna do it, man. What do you do if they tell you no yearly contract? What do you do to that customer? You drop them. I mean, they got the upper hand, especially when you're going into the fall. The customer has the upper hand because you can't even. I mean, it's hard to sell them work when it ain't rained in a month. That's why it's so important to me to nurture some of the to nurture relationships no matter what, and to be able to do other work, because I'm just ready for the lawns to stop. If they could stop right now, and I'd be just fine. Then I could focus on other types of work. And this property over here is going to be, they're going to be ready to not have me come no more. But I'm really considering getting a mulcher for my skid. I got to go where and I know before I've been saying all along, man, the reason why I ain't bought a mulcher is because I don't, my machine's not hardly big enough or whatever. But again, the market dictates what I do. But I don't know, man, about spending big money, man. That dude was wanting $26,000 for a used one. I know I'm not going to do that. There ain't no way. I could buy a brand new one for, a good one for $20, with a warranty and everything. But you ain't going to get no big industrial one. My machine can't push one that's a big industrial one for sure. I'll come out better maybe trying out one of the Chinese ones for $6,500. If I had a bigger machine, then I would probably entertain, buying I might, the bamboo site owner might rent one for me to use at his place. I'll do that. Well, man, by the time you rent one for a week, you could have bought a Chinese one. I mean, you can get your money back on a Chinese one pretty quick as long as it lasts through a couple jobs. And my machine is not like, if I had a 100 horsepower machine, I wouldn't even think about buying one of the Chinese ones, because I would probably tear it up. I might tear one up with a 75 horsepower machine. I just don't like buying cheap shit, man. So I know somebody gonna say, I thought you said you don't buy cheap shit, Ray. Well, I mean, sometimes you have to, man. I go where the market demands. And the market, if the market is saying, Ray, you can get paid doing a little forestry mulching or mulching with your machine, you can get paid, and I got work for that, and I see that I can make $10,000 and buy a $6,000 cutter head. To me, that's like, okay, I'll do that. But you got to be able to get parts for these things. And if I can't get parts, that's what they were saying about the Chinese stuff. You can't get no parts. That's a problem for Ray. Yeah, ain't no mowing footage over here, y'all. Okay, y'all. So, yeah, dusty, man. Bad. So, got that one done. Took me like, 20 minutes. It's 80, so they're working out pretty good this year. Doing it like this. Their driveway's terrible. But yeah. So now I'm headed back over here to where Phil is. Where are we at? We are at, we ain't really done that much money, really. Let's see. 80, 120, 200, another 120, 340, and then 120. We're 460 and it's 11:15. And so I'll help Phil wrap this one up, and then we'll go over to the Bermuda yard. It's going to be easy. We'll move right along though. The yards are, like I said, man, they're as dry as ever, man. I mean, and there's not a yard that we have been doing today that couldn't have waited another week or two. I don't see how the weekly guys are even staying in business. I guarantee you they ain't. I guarantee them weekly guys ain't going there cutting no grass right now. They might be doing other stuff, but you ain't cutting no grass. One more time. Yeah. Phil be, I mean, it didn't take me long at all this time, and I'm assuming that it's not going to take Phil that long over here either. I'll get over here and help him wrap it up, cut what I always cut. I like having a mower going over here though, because you're not going to do that one any faster with somebody with you. So, all right, y'all. Okay, y'all, 2 o'clock, man. We're done. Around $800. Not, it's okay. You ain't making no extra or nothing, man, because, I mean, I feel fortunate that we're able to get through the route, without people whining and crying. I'm ready for the lawn. I'm ready to stop cutting grass, man. I'm ready to stop. I'm sick of it. When we roll back around to April, I'll be ready again. So I'm doing research on forestry mulchers, y'all. I might end up buying one, but I know for a fact I'm not going to pay $40,000 for one. I'm either try to find a used one. I want to stay. So I just don't know how much money I'm going to be able to get back. I don't know how quick I can get my money back. See, with a stump grinder, it was different. I know a guy that's got a forestry mulcher and he ain't using it in 6 months. That's a little spooky for me, right? And he lives in my neighborhood. So, and he paid about $38,000 for his. It's a nice one. I want to say it's a blue diamond. Really nice, but he regrets buying it, right? He regrets it. He said he ain't done anything. He said he ain't done anything with it in a year almost. So that's what's got me spooked about buying a really nice, good one. And if I buy a real good one, I'll finance some of it. But if I buy a Chinese one, I'll just pay cash for it, right? I want to do a little more research on the parts availability and all that. I got an email into Raytree, go figure. See if they respond to. Yeah, you never know. But it's the kind of attachment that if you buy a good one, just like my stump grinder and the power rake and the grapple bucket, if you buy a good one, you never have to buy another one. I need to cut my own damn grass. I'm sick of cutting grass. Okay, y'all. Hope everybody has a good week, man. And if you're living around me, man, I know you hurting. Yeah. I don't know, man. When it don't rain, it does something to my psyche too.
I mean, a lot of people might think, well, you still making the same money, Ray. Yeah, but I'm not as motivated. I'll be honest when it don't rain, because there's well, you're lucky to be able to do the work that you got. You're not going to add anything to it, So it ain't like scratching and clawing at the schedule to try to do skid work, because ain't no skid work either, So we'll work tomorrow, and then Wednesday. Folks be creeping by Ray's house real slow. I wonder why. They're trying to see a player. Deuces!